Yeah. Ooh.
Hey, see, that was hilarious.
Hello. We're putting lipstick on.
Look
Yes.
good.
Yes. This is the Look Good
Hello,
Live
everyone. And I know. So we're live Wednesday, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. your time because you're in California. I'm so excited because most of you know that I'm a Cali girl. But my guest this week, Casey, is a Cali girl herself, but she's actually in Cali, so I'm super jealous right now. Welcome, Casey.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I wish you were here. Yeah, it's only 10 a.m. here, hence like trying to put on lipstick with 2 kids. And so it's crazy here, as you know, Raquel, but I love it. And thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. It's kind of cool because you've had me on your show.
I did. Yeah.
I want to say it was like 2 years ago during COVID, right?
It was like a year and a half ago. Yeah. I don't think I was pregnant yet. I don't think so. I don't know. I can't remember.
I think you might have told me, but I don't know if it was like announced or anything. Okay. But yeah, I mean, and now you have a baby boy. You're a mom to 2 boys. So how old is the baby right now?
He's 9 months.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, he's 9 months old and like doing this weird like scoot thing with his leg. Like it's not really a crawl. It's like this one leg crawl, like swoop scoot. It's like really cute. So
oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's such a joy. I feel so lucky to have another baby. It's the best.
It's insane because I feel like so not only you, but there's a couple other women in the industry, and one of them I think I'm gonna reach out to her that have had babies, like, and we're older. I can say that.
Girl, talk for yourself. I'm young. I got overalls on, okay? I'm taking my overalls.
You just turned the 40, didn't you?
I did. I totally did. 40 is young. It's like you find
it is young, but right? If you think about it, like, you know, kind of.
Oh no, it's totally old young. It's old young.
It's not totally old. It's just older.
Yes, I agree with that. Absolutely agree.
So, all right. Well, I wanted to say hi to Molly. Okay, so Molly can hear us now. Okay, good. All right. And Gabriella, oh my gosh, I haven't seen, which is funny because I was going to say because Gabriella, she can attest to this. So the first time you and I actually met was in Nashville for the Mortgage Collaborative Conference. And funny enough, you were not wearing a hat.
I know. It's true. I was like I usually take one night off from the hat. Like it's like an off night, right?
Which is funny because that's the one time I met you and then we took a picture together. So I love it because I feel I have like one of the very rare photos of Casey without a hat.
You do. Yeah, you absolutely. And I just have to comment. I'm actually wearing a new hat today and I have new glasses. So new, just for you, first showcasing them. So very exciting.
Oh my gosh. So that's what's funny is that, Delilah, who just popped in, hey girl, I had her last week and we were talking about how tacos have become her brand, have part of her brand. Right, so the same thing with you is your hat, I feel like has become part of your brand. Now, how did that happen? Were you just always a hat girl? And then it just
No. It's actually a really funny story. So I was at a conference, right? And, I tried a hat on. It was really a way to just not do my hair. I'm going to be really honest. I first started on the industry. I had a baby. I was working at a startup. It was crazy. And the whole like doing your hair thing at a conference was really hard for me. Like I could get dressed and I could do makeup, but, putting on a hat just helped simplify everything. And I wore it out one night and everybody was just like, oh, look, it was years ago when people didn't wear hats. They weren't really,
they still don't really wear hats.
Yeah, no, they don't. They definitely don't. But it was definitely more, I think there's been like things have relaxed a little bit in the last few years and people are starting to embrace, like I can be myself and I don't maybe have to wear a suit and tie and still look professional. And so there was like so much like, oh my God, you're wearing a hat. And my profile picture had a hat in it as well. And so it just kind of started that way. And then it was funny. I had a really, a woman I worked with who I adored and loved. She was like a mentor to me. And she told me, she was like, everything about you is really great, but you have to lose the hat. And I was devastated inside. I was like I admired her. I looked up to her. It was just this moment of like, oh my gosh, like I really like my hat. And I don't know. I was starting to get in the groove and like find myself in the industry and find my voice.
Did she explain why you needed to lose the hat? Like, did she at least give you something?
No, but you know what? In that moment, I made a choice. And I remember being so sad and thinking like, yeah, she's probably right. I'm probably being too different, or I'm being too authentic, or I got to blend in. I was like, nope.
Back
Nope,
up.
nope, right? You know what? I'm going to choose me. I'm going to be me. I'm going to trust this. I like it. It feels good. It's easy for me. And I'm going to roll with it. And in that moment, I chose myself and I chose authenticity, right?
Yeah.
And instead of choosing, and she's, very high up at companies, any other person could have been like, oh, yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. Yeah, lose the hat, right? And I was like, hey, thank you for your opinion and I adore you, but I'm going to keep the hat, right? And had I not been in my 30s at the time, I probably would have been not had a voice to say that. But it goes to show, like, even when you have people in your life coaching you and helping you, there's times where you have to really listen to your authentic voice. And you have to really trust yourself, right? And had I not done that, I wouldn't be the girl with the hat, which I literally, if I don't wear a hat out, people get mad. They harass me. I get harassed at conferences. I took it off for an hour at MBA annual. And I was harassed. Like, where's your hat? People are nervous. They're unsure. They don't know who I am. They literally, I could walk right past like one of my best girls and she won't even notice me because I don't have like, it's such a part of my persona in this industry. Right? And I feel really lucky that I have that, right? And that I do stand out and people know me and see me and people are like taking pictures with me at the last conference. Like, can I take a picture with you? And I was like, oh, okay. I think it's because we didn't get out much for 2 years, right? So there's like, but it was a little overwhelming.
I know, but what's kind of crazy too is that if you think about it, we obviously evolve, especially as women, like as we get older, like we kind of embrace who we are a little bit more. Like there might come a time where you decide, I don't want the hat anymore, And so it's like, then what? Because once again, like this is why I love what I'm doing with the show is just to kind of break the stereotypes, break the labels. And so the fact that you have been labeled as this hat lady,
it is like, boom.
Like there's going to come a point where you're going to be like, I'm moving on, no more hat. And so then it's like people, it's going to be interesting to see like what happens. But that's kind of the thing is that we need to embrace who we are in the moment, be okay with it, not care what other people think, and really be, honor who we are in that place in our life. And, it's just, I love though what's happening in the comments is we have all these women that we know and we admire them so much, Casey. And so I love that like they're forever. And then Jen was on. It's so this is really cool. Like I feel like it's a great way to kind of bring us all back together and reconnect and everything. And so we got Michael Keller. So we do have a dude that came on.
Yes, we do. I invited a lot of people. I invited primarily females, but I did throw some males in there. Michael was one of them. So thank you.
Okay, good. But I love what Gabriella said. She says, I've been told before that I need to look/act more polished in order to make it in the professional world, but I like who I am and I won't make myself small to fit in someone else's box. I love that. And I'm going to have you on too, Gabriella, because she's also another one that's really embraced who she is and kind of is unapologetic about who she is. Like the more that I think about it, Casey, the more of us in this industry are like really standing up to it.
Right.
And kind of be like, hey, you know what? This is who we are, and it doesn't diminish, our value or our professionalism or anything. Yeah. So so this is great. So speaking of which, like, now I'm not gonna like put you on a spot in the sense where you have to like share anything.
Okay.
You can
put me on the spot. Let's see what happens. I'm nervous too.
But this is something else that I kind of wanted to broach upon is that for those of you that know Casey, or at least like see her on social media and see her out there, might not have, met her personally. She has a persona, right? Always very happy, positive. I mean, you just have this incredible energy. But it just also goes to show you that behind the scenes, there can be a lot that happens, right? Like in someone's life. Like, for instance, you know how they say just never judge because you never know what someone's going through. Right. And I just wanted to give you I guess a shout out, if you will, in the sense that I was, when I was on your show,
I'm bringing it in.
No, when I was on your show, we had this great discussion, on it. But then when we stopped recording, you and I like really got like deep. I mean, you shared things with me that I know you hadn't really shared with others. And for whatever reason, you just felt like you could trust me in that moment. And, clearly I never said anything and I'm not going to, but I just wanted to share that you were someone that I looked at as that person, like, oh my gosh, she must have nothing bad going on in her life.
Right.
She's really always happy and, just always has a smile on her face. And when you really, open up to me, I was like, holy crap, I already respected you, but the level of respect went woo, it skyrocketed like crazy because you had a lot going on. a lot.
Yeah.
And it's just one of those things where I think a lot of us as women, especially in the professional world, like we really have to feel like we have to have our act together all the time and always feel like we've got everything under control. Everything's great. And so then we kind of forget that when we see somebody else and we just assume things. And with you, it was really an eye opener for me to be like, you cannot judge someone just by how they're putting themselves out there on social media too. Like we have to be honest with that as well, that there's a lot going on behind the scenes.
Absolutely. And really, it's interesting because I have a lot going on right now. Like I'll just be really honest. I'm in, I just moved with my grandma. She's 95. We had like a family emergency and I jumped ship the day after Christmas, took the kids and we're here. I moved 2 hours away. My son's not in school yet, so I'm homeschooling and working full time and have a baby. And I'm like in this like makeshift garage, like makeshift podcast area. As you can see, like I pulled together. But I think it's just a testament to like perseverance and really, life is hard and it's messy. Life is messy, right? And I think that we sometimes don't share the messy. And I think it's okay to share and connect. And, I'm very authentic and personal, even in my connections in the industry. So people know, like, I'm a real person. And if you have an issue, if you have a problem, like, you can connect to me. I have life experience. And, I can hold space for you as a female or, as a male, I guess, but primarily females. If you're dealing with something, I'm here for you, right? And, the time you're talking about, I'll just be really transparent. Yeah, I was like separated from my husband. I was like in the middle of COVID by myself with a kid. I mean, it was like this really challenging time in my life. And I just lost my job. And it was just life is like coming at me, right? And you have to really, in those moments, decide who you're going to be, right? Like, am I going to be a victim of circumstances or I'm going to push through and thrive and stay positive and look at all the good that's in my life, right? And so I think it's just important to, it's like my philosophy in life is whatever you focus on gets bigger, right? And I tend to focus on all the positive, all the goodness I have in my life, like my health, my kids, my boys, right? And when you focus on all that stuff, your life really is good, right? Your circumstances are just your circumstances. So, and I kind of, have that mentality now. Like anyone else would be like, oh God, I'm living with my grandma. What's happening? And I'm like, yeah, grandma, we're watching Jeopardy, Wheel of Fortune every night. I'm nailing Jeopardy, guys. I'm nailing Jeopardy. I had no idea how much I knew. I mean, this has been like really eye-opening. So it's been like so. Yeah, it's been so great. The news thing, she blasts the news, and that's been really hard for me. Other than that, because like the whole news is like a lot, right? And it's on 90, and the whole house is hearing about how the world's on fire, and that's like a little intense for me.
Yeah.
But other than that, we're just embracing it. I'm going for it, and I feel like this is one time in my life where I can show up for my family and teach my son how to care for my grandma. And it's a shift and it's a change. It's not about us and me right now. It's about her, and it's such a great life lesson to give to him as well. So. Here we are, Grandma's garage. We're doing it.
But I absolutely love it because even like Jen, she had just commented how it's so important for us, like women, to really, be there for each other and find your right tribe. Absolutely, and that's what's really cool is that within the mortgage industry, like I feel like there's a really awesome tribe of women. Really, I mean, and it's incredible how so many of us have gravitated towards each other and have really developed really incredible relationships and friendship. Like, I feel like this industry, because people think, because I was talking to Delilah about this, where people think of the mortgage industry, and I'm sure they have a certain view of it and a certain stereotype about what it's like, but truly, if you kind of dig deep and you find all these women and just the diversity that's in there, and like, I don't know, it's hard to explain, but I think that's honestly why I went back into the industry, because I had left and then
Yes.
came back, and it's amazing how quickly everyone embraced me too. Like, that was so cool. No one said, "Oh, you left us for 2 years." Like, no, it's been really special to meet so many of you. It's been fantastic. So for you within the mortgage industry, I know that you're kind of like me with the networker, business development. Like, we kind of
Yeah.
have like the fun,
Yes. Yes.
job within. So right now, I mean, obviously because of COVID, but would you have been traveling if it weren't for COVID?
Oh, yes, yes, I do. I've tried to pull back a little bit, and I think there's very few times, in your life where you can raise a baby, right? And I feel really lucky that I got to have another baby. And so I'm trying to pull back a little bit on my travel just because that first year is so important. Not only am I not sleeping, but, there's like so much going on that I just don't want to miss with him. So I pulled back a little bit because of that. But absolutely, I love traveling, connecting, and being at conferences. I feel like it's like hanging out with your friends, right? And doing business, and the relationships I built, with you, for example, right? Like, I love and adore you. And I never felt like you left, because I always felt like we were connected, and we.
Yeah, I think I did a good job of remaining.
You did. I would do the same,
which is important.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, first of all, welcome back. I don't know if we officially said, like, yay, Raquel's back, right? You need to be here. We need you. But I feel like, anyone that I know has kind of left this industry, we always come back, right? Because there is this community that we've built, right? And we work really hard, and a lot of people don't understand how hard we work and the intensity sometimes of our industry. But we have fun while doing it. And that's what I love, So and I love the relationships that I get to have and build out on the road and connect with. And I just the topic we kind of were talking about was how to create a work that you love, right? Or work that you love. And I think when you're doing that, for me, it's building relationships and connecting with people. So as long as I'm doing that, like, I'm in the zone, right? I love doing that. So
and that's what's so important, is it really is about connection and building relationships. And I emphasize that so much, even though, I do branding and social media, and I'm that person's like, get out there on social media. I always make it a point to say, yes, you need to be out there. But at the same time, like, the fact that you need to build relationships is still number one, right? Like, you still need to make it a point to connect on a different level. And that's what this show is about too, connecting on a different level. Because if you're just a mortgage professional, not many people are going to connect with you in that way. But like for you, Casey, there's so many layers to you, and there's so many things that you're passionate about, just like I am. And when we talk about those things, that's when people really connect with us, emotionally resonate, all of that. And so that's why, for me, some people might watch this and be like, oh, they're not talking about their profession. They're not talking about the company they work for. I don't want to talk about the company I work for, the company you work for, your actual position, your title, because that's not what makes us who we are. There's so many things that make us who we are. And so for me, that's why I love someone like yourself too, that really puts themselves out there. Like, I mean, you're kind of a very free spirit, very bohemian. Like,
I am very free. I know. Well, what's so funny is that when I first started in the industry, I didn't like really embrace that side of myself, and I was wearing suits. And I was like, because I thought I had to wear suits, right? And so like everyone else, so like in these suits, and I was just like trying to be myself, but I couldn't, and I'd had like a big turquoise ring with this suit on, because I felt like I had to embrace that myself. And finally my girlfriend came up to me. I love her. Her name's Kara. She's not into this industry right now, but she was like, girl, you gotta lose that suit. She like literally called me out. And at the time I was putting my husband, through med school, and we were super broke. We didn't have a lot of money. I didn't have a lot of money to like buy new clothes. And she like gifted me all of these clothes and all of these dresses and all of this stuff that I can kind of start embracing my style in the industry. True story. And that was one of my first best friends in this industry. She really would bring clothes and shoes to conferences for me. I'm like, girl, you gotta wear this, okay? And I love, and she kind of like like started helping me to embrace not only my style and who I am, but my femininity as well, right? And I think we can be feminine and still be in this industry, right? And do the work that we do. If you want to.
What do you think is attributing to that, right? Like, what is it like? Because I do see a shift where, you know, even Amy was talking about how she likes to wear like really funky shoes, and that's kind of been her thing. And that's the same thing too, is like now I'm a little bit more, you know, I don't know, wild with what I wear out now to business events. But like, what do you think it is? Like, is it just maybe us getting older and just be more comfortable with who we are, or maybe the industry itself is shifting? Like, what do you think it is? But I
think there's a couple. You know, there definitely is a difference from when I first started. And I still want to acknowledge the people who still go old school, because I have some friends that are still in their like jackets with their little like pins and all that stuff. And like some of the females, and I love that. And I feel like that's and you know, I always love to go. I have a good friend and she's like, nope, I like my 1980s suit. And I'm like, you go, girl, right? But that's who she is, right? So even by not changing and branching out, she's still embracing who she is.
That's important. Like she likes it.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So I think, you know, there's a couple things. I think that, you know, not only as we're getting older, but I think when you start to seeing other people take risks, right, you feel more comfortable, right? So, you know, I'm not going to take all the credit with the hat now. I take zero credit, right? Zero credit. But I think as we started to see other people at conferences starting to like, oh, wow, he's wearing tennis shoes with this suit. Like that actually works, you know, like, oh, wow. And as we are ourselves in a work environment, still being professional in our mannerisms, and you know, I'm not gonna show the girls or anything like that. Like I know to keep it reined in a little bit, right? I do have boundaries, okay. But it's just you do better at your job. You're happier because you're in your zone, you're in your vibe, you, right? And you feel it, and you're like. And as soon as you feel, you know, like a part of yourself and you bring that into your work environment, it doesn't have to be separate. And that's what I think it's always been. It's been so separate, like work, business, right? And then personal life. And so, yes, I'm not going to wear my yoga pants, my Ugg boots to a conference, okay? Because that's really what I wear.
Yeah, I mean, well, there's a level of respect there. Like we know that you have to respect.
Exactly. But I really think the more that people started kind of getting comfortable and seeing other people get comfortable, and obviously I think COVID sort of shifted and helped because we're all comfortable, right? In our home in our sweatpants. But there's that feeling of like, okay, wow, like this feels really good. I feel authentic to myself in this work environment. Therefore, it's easier for me to connect to people, right? Because people see who I am. So commenting, oh, hey, great jacket. Hey, great shirt. Where'd you get that? Oh my God, I love your hat, right? And there's this level of like connection that just happens from what you wear sometimes. So I think that's part of it too.
Yeah. And I also believe too, the sense of empowerment when you, especially as a female, when you feel empowered, there's something about it that really just like transcends, I think, in your professional world, in your personal world, right? Like I feel for me, for instance, like coming back, I will admit, you know, having left for 2 years and trying to start my own business and do everything, and then coming back, I had this sense of empowerment that when the company approached me about working for them, I was able to kind of say, this is what I want. You know, this is what I feel comfortable doing. This is what I don't feel comfortable doing. And so I just like ended up landing like the perfect job because I, from the start, felt really empowered and really understood my value and what I brought. And there was something about that. And, you know, in that conversation, I made it a point to say, hey, I don't like to be micromanaged. You know, so my boss doesn't micromanage me, you know, like he lets me do what I need to do. And knowing that, I feel like I work harder, right? So it's like, there's so many different aspects to it when you allow someone to really be who they are.
Right. Absolutely.
Any situation, any industry. So I love that it is taking a shift.
It is. And Gabrielle just made a comment about her shoes, you know, and I've noticed, like I'm just going to speak right to you, Gabrielle, at that TMC conference.
Yes.
Okay, like you were like, I just thought you were the cutest thing ever. I wanted to put you in my pocket and like take you home. First of all, okay. Like, and when I see these sort of younger women wearing those shoes, I'm like, oh, hey, I wonder if I can wear shoes like that, right? And I've like and I bought a pair. So next conference, I'm gonna be wearing some like cute Nikes, maybe like white Nikes. You know, I'm gonna try.
I want a cute pair of like.
And it's because I've seen younger women kind of embracing that. I'm like, I think I can wear cute shoes like that. Like that's smart, right? Thank you. Like I would never have thought of that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's one of those things like, yes, like do not understand that wearing heels for that amount of time, it hurts. And also if you think about it, it's really not the best for us when it comes to like our backs, our feet, all of those things, right? So I love that. And then Gabriella too, another thing that I'm gonna have to have her on the show because she's another one too, that she's younger than us, but she embraced like her gray hair. Like she went gray younger than most of us have, and she cut her hair short and then she let it come in gray and she looks absolutely stunning. And that's another thing too, where some people might be like, whoa, what are you doing? But I love that. Like they're like, oh my gosh, the more that I think about it, I'm just looking at these comments and these women, they're all embracing who they are. And like, so what we're doing is we're creating a movement really of just, of women in this industry, and hopefully that'll catapult and help other women and show a lot of women, because there's unfortunately a lot of women still out there that are still pretty insecure with who they are. And so they might put themselves out there not as authentically as they as they would like, right? I think a lot of the women want to be able to embrace that, but they're scared because they're scared of that judgment and scared of what people are going to think. So I think the more that we just kind of like, hey, this is who I am. Like I took a picture the other day. You can't really tell, but I haven't had my hair cut or colored in over a year. So my gray's coming in, I've got split ends like crazy, but I don't know. Like I'm kind of in that place of like, I want to see what happens with my gray coming out. And to feel okay with that and let the world see it as it's like unfolding. Once again, it's really empowering.
Absolutely. No, I love that. I think it's so important. And it's funny because my mom was one of the first women to go all gray. Like she just let it go in her 40s and she's just been silver, like before it was even trendy. And people would be like, oh, so I think having a mom like that, it's helped me embrace who I am, right? Because she was like silver before, like it was not cool back then. Okay. And she's just like, you know what? This is my hair. And it's like this beautiful silver hair. And she's had it for years now. I've actually never dyed my hair. I have virgin hair. Can you believe that?
I just assumed
this is virgin hair. Yeah, I've never dyed it. I've been blonde my whole life, and I'm still blonde. I know. It's like another like unique fact about me. Yeah, I know. Virgin hair right here, ladies. Virgin.
That's impressive. I have to tell you, my mom also has never dyed her hair or anything. I believe in that. Now we're getting like into the whole, cosmetics here at beauty school.
I know, right?
If you hadn't dyed your hair at all ever, I feel like the gray actually holds off a little bit. I feel like it's when you start playing with your hair, then maybe it ages a little bit quicker. I don't know, but kudos to you.
Yeah, virgin hair, right? That's gonna have to be part of my brand. The virgin hair with the hat.
Well, there you go. Once you like get rid of the hat, like that could be a thing too, right? It's always there's always an element of branding.
Yes. We're going way out there. Okay, we'll pull it back in. Yeah,
no, but I
love that you're embracing that and that you are, just being you. And I just want to acknowledge you for a second because you've been so authentic on social media, right? And I think we have the same sort of style in our presence. And I just had a baby, so I back off quite a bit, and I'm very authentic when I post. I feel like it has to be right for me, and I don't force it, right? And if there's things that are really, I'll be honest, if I'm not posting, life is hard usually for me, right? I've had a lot of stuff come up recently in my life. It's been super intense, but you always are so authentic and you're not really about like necessarily business or job. You're just sharing, right? And people connect to that. So I just want to acknowledge you for like sharing who you are in social media and really paving the way for other women to be authentic and share who they are.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And I appreciate that, Josh Shred Media gave me this opportunity to host the show and essentially be like, hey, you have whoever you want on the show, whatever topics you want, like you do what you want to do with it. And so it's really cool to have those opportunities come your way. But I think it's because I've put myself out there in that way. So it's once again also proving that if you really are just showcasing who you are, what you love, your interests, passions, like you're going to draw those people and those opportunities towards you. And I think that's really important too, to share, because I think people forget that unless you really share who you are, no one's going to really know opportunities to provide for you or to help you in any way. And so I think that's been a lot of it, because I feel so blessed. I really do, that I just have so many incredible people, especially in this industry, that have really continued to, kind of look out for me and
cheer you on. And, and it's like one of the topics, I know we were talking about kind of creating a life that you love and work that you love. And it's something that I believe in. I think you've done such a great job at, is the first part of that is, bring more what of you love into your life. And I feel like you've done that, right? You've chased that and brought it in. And that's the first sort of step in like creating a life that you love, is bringing what you love into your life, right?
Yeah.
And you've done that, and it's like served you so well in your career and in your personal brand. And so kudos to you for.
Well, thank you. And I mean, I would say the exact same thing about you, and so many other women, especially, that have joined us today. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up because we were at 30 minutes. But I told you, it's so funny. It's like, hey, you want to do 15, 20 minutes? I was like, no, I'm going to need 30 minutes.
30, absolutely 30. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So thank you. And I know that so many people that have popped in are so happy to see your face, because, with a newborn, it has been, tough for you to kind of put yourself out there like you're used to. So I love that we can all see your face.
Yes, here I am. You will see more of it. I have lots of fun stuff I'm working on. So you'll see more of me, definitely.
No, that's awesome. And thanks again for everyone that tuned in. I think next week, I don't know who I have yet, but I have scheduled out for a couple other weeks. But, just tune in next Wednesday to find out who my
Find out more next Wednesday, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, it's all a surprise here. All right. Thank you, everyone. Have a fantastic rest of your Wednesday and fantastic rest of your week.
Yes. Thank you. Bye. Thanks, Raquel. Thank you, Shred.